Welcome, Stampers. I'm so glad you're here. I am Pat Fairless from Fairless Stamp and Flair, and I'm here today learning with friends. I have kind of a fun project today that I'm going to share with you. It might be a little different than I normally do. I call it a stack and cut. It's a great technique to use when you want to make multiple cards and you're kind of in a hurry, depending on how detailed you want to get in decorating the final front of your card. You can certainly keep it extremely simple, just add a sentiment or add a little additional embellishments. We're going to keep them kind of simple. Let's just flip the camera down and go ahead and get started. So you may have seen this before. Oftentimes it's done with rectangular pieces, and I'm going to show you how to do it with just cutting any old shape you want to cut. Triangles, four-sided shapes, whatever. And I'm going to give you some hints on what happens when you do that and what you have to watch out for. But let me first show you the paper I'm going to use. I do not do a lot of Halloween cards or projects, so I didn't buy any Halloween stamp sets this year. Shame on me, I know. But I did see some designer series paper in the scrapbooking brochure that I really, really liked. And it is called Halloween Spells. And it's got 3 sheets. It's 12 by 12 paper. It's got 3 sheets of each pattern in 4 different patterns. So you can see great Halloween colors here. Love this one. We're going to experiment using it. I'm not sure how well it's going to work. But we're going to give it a try. And it's got Granny Apple Green, Gorgeous Grape, some pumpkin pie. Pool Party is in here too, and then a couple of black designs. Now with this technique, what we do is we take however many sheets. So let's say I want to make 3 cards. I would take 3 different patterns, stack them together, and cut my desired finished size. And I'm using the word desired loosely, and you'll see why. Today I'm going to make actually 4 cards. I probably need a half a dozen or so. That's about all I ever send. But this will give me 4 of them. And I am going to use these 3 patterns and this one. And then I'm also going to use this pumpkin pie dot. So these will be our 4 main patterns that I would use for making this card. Because that'll give me, and I'm going to cut it in 4 pieces. And that's the other thing you have to remember, which I'll explain a bit more. This one I'm going to use as an experiment. And the reason is, if you look at this, this is extremely directional, right? Some designs you can put any which way you want. This one, you really have to have it totally right side up. I mean, you don't even want it to turn out this way on your card upside down, and you don't want it sideways. So some of them you can have, like we'll say this stripe. Stripes are obviously directional, but I could always use them this way in the card as well. And I could use it this way. So for this purpose, it really is non-directional. And of course, anything with polka dots, or here we just have an overall pattern. Those are totally non-directional. Now, the other thing that this designer, Halloween Spells designer paper comes with is it comes with 1 sticker sheet. And the sticker sheet is actually called Halloween Memory Stickers. But when you purchase the designer series paper, this comes with it. And so I'm going to use this to decorate the front of my card. Since I don't have any current stamp sets, we're going to do our best we can with this to decorate the front. So as I indicated, however many cards you want to make, that's how many pieces of designers, different patterns of designer series paper you want. Now, I'm breaking that rule a bit because I'm adding this one because I just want to play with it and see how it turns out. And I won't be able to use it on every card. But if you want to make 4 cards, take 4 pieces of different designer series paper at a minimum, and stack them together. So let's just pretend this is 4, and then cut it into 4 pieces. Now, you can cut these in any shape you want. Some hints that we'll talk through: rectangular shapes are certainly easier to space out and lay out on your card. If you do rectangular shapes, you can also use the back side, right? So in theory, if you were doing 4, you could cut 2 pieces and then you could flip it to the back side, except that you need 1 of each on your card and you'd run out of pieces. So, but I want to do I like diagonals and triangular things. So I'm going to cut this in triangles, or triangles and diagonals. And I'm not going to pay much attention. It doesn't really matter. Let's just cut a slice down the middle. And there's no measurements you have to follow or anything. Make your own pattern. Just after you cut them, kind of keep them together and in order. So now our cutter is not really made for 4 pieces of paper. So you might want to go back and through forth a few times, and it did cut all right. So I now have those 2 pieces. I need 4 pieces, I said. So let's make this one maybe 1 inch wide. I'll just lay this edge over here on the 1 inch mark, put it down, and because it's thick, I'm really holding it tightly. You don't want it to move, and you definitely want to cut all 4 pieces at a time because you want every shape to be exactly the same. So let me just lay those over here. Now I'm going to take this piece and which way shall I do it? Doesn't matter. We'll just make this into a funky little couple triangle pieces over here, I guess. So let's try this. And yep, I'm all the way through. So that completes our cutting. So let me lay my my cutter out of the way. And you can see, oops, I have my 4 pieces. Now my starting piece was, just for information purpose, was 5 by 3 3/4. That's approximately what I want my finished element on my card to be, so I cut it to that size. Now, because these are triangles, if you want to put spaces between them, which is what we want to do, things don't end up aligning. So this is my hint. If you're going to do triangles, you're going to want to build your background on a piece of cardstock. So, and make that cardstock a little bit bigger because you're going to space it out. So I have basic black cardstock, which is cut to 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, this was 5 by 3 3/4, so a 1/4 inch smaller. And then we're going to adhere these on here to put on a base, we'll call it. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to trim it, everything, to 5 by 3 3/4. So here's kind of what I cut. It's probably a little bit different. They're never, unless I actually were to measure exactly where I cut, they're going to turn out a little different. This triangle's a little bigger than this one. This one's a little smaller. But if you want to do triangles or diagonals, my recommendation is that make yourself kind of a template. And I use the word template loosely because, again, they're not measured. You're just going to look at your paper and cut it where you want to cut it. But then you can take your cardstock, and we'll show you this, and try to figure out how to lay this out, because in this case, I would want this line to be the same so that this one, I get an even gap, right? I wouldn't want to slide it in. And this is just a hint to do this. It takes one more piece of cardstock because you need a backing. If you have rectangular pieces, you can just go ahead and lay it right on your mat. So now we're going to do the mix and match fun. So I usually start with one of the pieces. Now I have 5 pieces here. Pretend it's 4 because we're going to try to incorporate this one where we can. But in some places, it's probably not going to do much for the card. So let me make sure you can see these. And I'll kind of try to lay them out here and get them all in the screen. I'm going to move that out of my way a little bit because now I'm going to build my card front, right? So take your next piece, and here's where I'm going to decide, do I want to use this piece or not? Well, this piece on an angle, I think that one looks okay. I can get enough of the books and part of the words, so let's go ahead and use it. And we'll just lay it, and I'll work my way across. You want everyone to be different, so just take your pieces and lay them out. If you have to flip and flop, that's fine. And I think this one works okay down in the corner, so let's keep that. So now we have our first 2 pieces for every card, right? Hopefully you can see all of those. Hopefully I got them all in the camera. I think I do. I'm running out of room a little bit. So now let's go ahead and take this next piece. I don't know. I only want to end up with 4 cards, right? I don't know. That one's not. Let's leave that one off. So now I'm going to put a stripe, and let's just go ahead and put our stripe up here. We want to mix these up. So I don't want to I have this purple dots. I don't want to put it where I already have purple dots because we want everyone to be unique. So let's put that on this one down here. Green, I need a green here, and I need an orange here, okay? So this looks like it's going to be my card I might not use. Now, maybe if I really need 5, I can use this other piece, right? But we're going to pretend this is my kind of throwaway card because I've got an extra piece. So these are going to be our 4 focus cards. Now, I kind of don't know that I like this piece either. It doesn't do a lot, so we'll just put that over there. It's my throwaway piece. And here I need some stripes over in this one, so I'm going to pick my stripe. Here I need some purple, so I'm going to put my purple. Here I need some green, and here I need some orange. Or pumpkin pie, granny apple green. So let's just lay this one aside. We're not going to do this card. Now, what I wanted to explain, so let's just focus on this one. It's got the least amount of patterns going around. You want to kind of keep these laying where they belong, because when you flip them over, this is what I wanted to explain with the triangles. I cannot take any one of these triangles and just flip it over and make it fit. It doesn't reverse. If these were rectangles or squares, you could flip them over and use the back side. I can't even put this one over here, right? So you have to keep these exactly the way they are. So now let's go ahead and start putting these on a backing. And because I'm going to be gluing, I'm going to get a piece of grid paper and tuck it under here. See if I can get them without messing them up and dropping them on the floor. I did that when I was practicing. I did make a practice one with some other paper. I'll show it to you in a bit. I'm going to use it for Thanksgiving cards. So let's just start with these 2. And so this piece is a little bit bigger than I want my finished size to be. And what I found is, actually, so I can get this a little bit out of my way so I can have this here. This was my upper corner. What I found to get these aligned better, because I'm going to trim this down. I just laid this one right in the corner because that seemed to work the best for me to get these equally spaced. If I tried to space them, so, I flipped that over which ways. If I tried to space them and make a border, it becomes very difficult without making this extra step. I'll just show you, because now I'm going to lay this one on here and I want a gap, but I know I need this side to be straight because this edge is straight. All right, so if I do that, now I got a littler gap over here. Hopefully you can see that. And that's why I cut it down. But if I just started, so let's back up. Let's just start gluing these down. That one's going to go down there. You can use whatever kind of adhesive you prefer. If you use liquid, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. I am not a huge fan of liquid adhesive because I don't like sticky fingers. But you do kind of want to get it close to the edges to hold them down. So this one, since it was on the corner, we're just going to lay that right down here. Now, I'm going to lay this down on here and I'm going to pick whatever gap I want. I like about that big of a gap. But again, I can't lay this one on the edge because if I did, if I were to line this up along the edge with the gap I want, now when I lay this here, I got this goofiness going on. So that's what I mean by do a backing, and that way you can play and then just trim to size. So which way does it go? It's a mystery. It's kind of, that's why I say keep them, but then when you flip them over to add the glue, it's like, oh, now which way does it go? And that's pretty good gap. So now I'm using this piece and I kind of worked my way down. That helped me to keep my gaps more even. If I were to put this corner piece down here, it's harder than to put the last piece and get the gaps even. So when I showed you my rough little template, which I will show you again in a minute to explain a little bit. Let me just get this one down here. And again, here I laid it up at the top, and now this is even. I numbered these to show, all right, put this one down first, this one down second. Gave myself a note in case I ever want to do this again. Make sure this edge is aligned because you want it here. Put this one down third, and then this one down last. That way it just, as you're making multiples, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes, I'll make one card, I go and make the next one. I can't remember what I did on the last card. That's terrible, but it happens to me. So let's go ahead and push this on here. And just try to keep it. And so that piece is finished. So let's see how quick we can do all of these, because I'd like to get them all made just to show you. And my fingers are already really gluey. So this is probably going to get a little bit monotonous watching them all go together. Now, all right, that's stuck down before I could move it over there, but it doesn't matter. Just remember, I'm going to trim this down anyway. And here I have to remember the long edge goes along the outside, or forget where it is relative to the side and make sure it's straight with this angle up here. So when I put this piece down, I will have an even gap along my triangle down here. And you can slide it up, down, wherever you really want it. I got glue on there. This is why I don't I don't know how people who use this stuff all the time don't get glue where they don't want it, because I always get it where I don't want it. Mostly on my fingers. All right, we got 2 done, 2 to go. And we will just keep trudging along here. Okay, and you can see here, let me hold this up close, see how this is out beyond the end of the card. That's fine, because we're gonna trim that all off. You can see they don't always even fit exactly the same, even though we cut them all at once. And so each piece should be the same shape and size. They still don't always come up together once you put it together. I probably vary the gaps a little bit. Who knows what I do? But it doesn't matter. That's why my hint here is use this backing piece and make the backing piece a 1/4 inch larger than what your finished size was, because that'll give you room to adhere it down along with some gaps, and then just go back and trim it off. It's an extra step, but with triangles or diagonals, where you can't 100% line things up the way you can with squares, it just makes it less frustrating, let's say. Because you know you don't have to get it, because you can't get it perfect. It's not possible with the shapes. And if you don't like that, just make squares and rectangles. And you won't have that problem. Plus you'll get to choose from 2 sides of paper for every square. I just like to try something different with some different shapes. I have one more. I have a set of Christmas cards I made that I'm going to show you too. That I actually posted on my blog last Friday on my website, and I will show you that up close as well. There is a tutorial for that out on the Fairless Stampin' Claire website, but I did it basically the same way, and it did make, I think I made 3 cards out of that one, so I had 3 different pieces of designer paper. All right, let me see if I can get some of this glue off my fingers. Ugh. That was hand sanitizer for those of you who might not know that that's what I do. Okay, now I need my trimmer, and I set it aside, but where did I set it? So now I'm going to take these 4 pieces, and we're going to cut these to 3 3/4 by 5. So I am going to cut this edge, because this is not even. I'm just going to cut that off first, just trim it just a tiny bit. And there's my trash. Now I got that nice straight edge, so I'm going to cut this one. This one's pretty good. I got this pretty well, but I don't have it correct here. So I'm just going to cut this just a bit. And now this side, because I've already cut this side, I can cut this to my 3 3/4. And then I will pull back to this side where I've got unevenness here, where this is down below, and cut this to 5. Right. And that is one card. So let's try this one. I'm just going to take a little piece off here to get rid of any hanging over and little borders I might have created as I slid things around. So we'll do the same thing down here. And this is 3 3/4. And now I want to make sure this is 5. And that's pretty close right on. Okay, so you can see once you get it trimmed up, it doesn't matter that things were sticking out the sides or maybe you had a gap where you didn't want a little gap of border. So it just kind of, because I made this a piece 1/4 inch bigger, you do have to be sure you don't do too big of gaps or you're still going to have a problem. But just trim it down to 3 1/4 by 5. Okay. So one more. And if you're concerned about, you can always make this piece, your 4 pieces of cardstock, you can always make those instead of the finished size of 3 3/4 by 5. You could make those also start at 5 1/2 or 4 by 5 1/4, the same size as the black. It'll just give you a little bit more wiggle room in making sure that you have something to cut off all the way around. Okay. But always cut one side straight first and then work around. That'll just make sure it stays square. Okay, so we have those done. We now have 4 finished card fronts. And these 2 for sure have to go in this direction. This one I could put like this, or I could put it like this. It doesn't matter because it's non-directional. Obviously, with the words, we need to leave them like this. So, or I could put this like this, whichever way I like. Why don't we do it like this? Let's do these 2, and we'll save these a minute. So now I'm going to take these, and I'm going to put these on a black mat to give me a border all the way around, okay? So I'm going to switch to my Stampin' Seal and adhere these. Maybe I am. Is it coming? Yeah, there we go. And I know I probably don't need this much, but it's just quicker. So we will put these on the backing, try to get the borders as equal as we can. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's a personal problem of mine. I'm a little bit anal when it comes to perfection. And it is a shortcoming. I'm working on it. I'm a work in process. Okay. And while we're at it, we are going to go ahead and do these 2 as well. And then we can just start putting the cards together and decorating them. But this is basically the technique of how to do a stamp and cut, or a stack and cut, not a stamp and cut. We're not really doing any stamping, but we did lots of cutting. Now the other thing, if you had this, if you found you had to cut this slightly smaller because maybe you had too big of a gap somewhere, that's okay. You'll just still have this piece you'll just have a little wider border, so not a problem, right? All right, so here, let's see. I think I'm gonna do that one that way. And this one I'm gonna do this way. All right, and I have card bases here. I have 4 different card bases. I have a couple pumpkin pies, a couple granny apple greens, and a couple purples, gorgeous grapes. So let's figure out which one we like on which. I don't know. Probably doesn't really matter. Does it? Why am I overthinking it? I don't know. We're going to put that one on there. This one doesn't have a lot of green in it. So, in fact, where is the green on this one? Oh, this was the other card that had the green over there. So let's put that one on a green card. This one has, do I like it on pumpkin pie or purple? I like it on purple. This one's going to go on pumpkin pie because that's what I got left. So there are our 4 cards. And to decorate these, I thought, well, I'm going to use those stickers. So there's not a boatload of stickers here. These stickers, I will be honest with you, these stickers are really probably meant for scrapbooking. You can tell a lot of them talk about memories. I don't know that I'd put the spookiest little monster on a card. That'd probably be great for a scrapbook page with a somebody dressed up scary, right? So, but we're just going to kind of pick and choose on here. And let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna pick this. I do kind of like this spider web. I don't know why I like it. I hate spiders. Probably because my house, I live on a lake and there's spiders everywhere. But let's go ahead and just put him on there. And then there are a couple spiders. So they're usually hanging down from the spider web, right? Oh, spiders just drive me nuts. Do I need 2 or is 1 enough? These are all stickers, so I can, let's put him there. And let's just put the little one down here. Now, I think what I would do is, I don't have a black marker with me. But I would take a couple lines, I will, and just draw it down so it looks like he's hanging from a little web. But now we need a sentiment of some sort, and I have glue right there. What about, what do we have here? Since I don't like spiders, I'm going to use this one that says eek, because that's how I feel about spiders. Now, I could just stick this on here, but I think the card needs a little bit of dimensional. So before I do that, let's add a little bit of ribbon and bling. And I just kind of grabbed a bunch of different, I went through my stash of black ribbon. I found one gorgeous grape. I have lots of black. I don't know about the flag. I have some black twine that could work. Kind of looks like spider webs, only it's heavier. Do I want some silver? I have this one with glitter where I can kind of see through it. Oh, you can never have too much glitter. Let's just use the glitter. So before I adhere this to my card base, I'm going to go ahead and just wrap this around here. And we will just tie it in a simple knot. Get my scissors out. And then we'll add the little eek. This ribbon, I am sure, is retired. It's called Black Glitter Ribbon. I didn't really worry about trying to get current ribbon for today. I just grabbed some colors I had. I don't have any ribbon that's granny apple green. I could color some white ribbon if I wanted. That takes too long. So, all right, so now I want to pop this up, and he needs, I made myself a bunch of little die cuts here to stick my eek on. I like that. I could do a purple circle. Purple. I kind of covered up a lot of my green, didn't I? So maybe I add some granny apple green. Does it fit on here? I know. Well, I'm turning this into a project. Okay, well, I think I like. How about just laying all that? Uh-oh, did my camera switch? No, I guess I'm okay. Hold on a minute. Something doesn't look right here. Oh, how long ago did that happen? I wasn't paying attention. I have not had that happen in months. In fact, I was just telling a friend, I think StreamYard got their problem fixed. Well, obviously they don't have it fixed. Maybe I just use black. I think I'm just going to use the black on this one. So let's stick my sticker on here. And we will put some dimensionals on. Now I know I brought my dimensionals over, but where did I put them? Oh my, this is crazy. Here they are. They fell over and they didn't look like dimensionals anymore. So I've got some black dimensionals. I'm going to use these since I've got black cardstock. And, all right. Pull these off. And tuck that there in the corner of that bow. How's that? I might not have the dimensionals in the best place. It's holding. Okay, so now I would take dimensionals also and put them on here because I have ribbon wrapped around there. So typically I will, if I have ribbon wrapped around my cardstock, I will normally pop it up on dimensionals. It's not necessary. I just like it to lay a little flatter without the ribbon, but do what you like. You could certainly adhere it directly to the front of the card base. And let's put that on the card front. Okay, and that's our card. Like I said, I will get a black marker and add that on here. I think that'll just kind of tie the spiders into the web a little bit. I do have some insides made, so I'm going to put an inside in here. We will go ahead and adhere this. These are already finished. And again, I did say I did not have any current stamp sets this year for Halloween, so I went in my stash. The Trick or Treat is from throughout the year. It's a retired sentiment set. And this Happy Halloween to You is from Frightfully Cute, which is a few years old. I did take the bats, a bat, from the sticker here and just put it on the inside. So that is that card. Now, I'm not sure we need to take the rest of the time to go ahead and decorate these. Let's do one with this cute little, kind of my favorite little designer paper here. And should I use the same ribbon as opposed, I got a gorgeous grape cardstock. Why don't I take gorgeous grape ribbon? I know I had some. The card base is gorgeous grape, so let's just add this around here. It's also kind of see-through. I think I'll put it kind of right here in the center so I can see my words down here. I can always slide it down if I don't like it, right? I'll grab my scissors. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm normal. My normal self. I can never find my scissors. So I certainly cut this long enough. I am making simple knots. You could make bows. You could do what you want. I am just trying to keep these as simple as I can because the interest here really is in the staff and cut background that we made. So where are my stickers and which one should I use? Here's one that just says trick or treat. I'm going to use that. And maybe I'll use a piece of this. I'll cut this off. My paper scissors. I want to use my ribbon scissors on paper. So let's just cut a piece of that streak off. And this will grab this trick or treat. And I'm just going to adhere this. Here's my silicone mat. All right, let's put that right on here. I probably should move up a little bit so you can see it. And then we can just cut a flag on each end. And then down here, trim that off a little bit. Cut a flag on this end. We have that about the same length. I think we need a little bit more. This is easier to do when you can hold it up by your nose. All right. Now, because this is sticky, if I wanted to pop it up on something, I'd have to put it on something else. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and maybe just lay it up here. I'll cut this even instead. Like that, and we're just going to lay this right up here. All right, that's done. Add some dimensionals that I lost again, or misplaced again. There they are. And we will peel these off. And then I think I'll let you imagine how we would decorate the other ones. I would probably do something similar. I did find some pumpkin pie ribbon also in my stash, so but you certainly don't need my help to figure out how to decorate. Maybe I'll move that down just a bit. What do you think? That way it shows my pieces a little bit better, I think. Let's just move that down there. So there's that one. Well, I've got this here. I do have an inside. I might as well do the inside. So then I'll have two finished. This one I did fold vertically. You can do it either way. If you wanted on this one, obviously, you wouldn't have had to pop the front up on dimensionals. You could have just wrapped the ribbon around the whole thing and adhered the backing right to the front of your card. That's an advantage of having these vertical folds. So here are two of the completed cards. Here are two more that we did today, two more of the backings. And this one, I am going to make it so it goes in this direction. I will do that after. I think you can figure out how to do that without me showing you. I have lots of little die cuts left here. Purple, orange, green. Kind of like the orange on there, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. There's another circle. I'll probably use the purple. You know what? I have a circle here. Does this fit? Does this fit up? Maybe this green circle. Well, this kind of looks stiffer, kind of looks nice. Maybe I put it right there in the middle where they all meet. All right, that one's sort of done. We'll add ribbon, maybe some sparkles, black sparkles. I know I said I was quitting, but I didn't quit, did I? There. That's how we'll do that one. Okay, I promised I would show you a couple of other ones that I did, and I do want to take a couple minutes to show you that. These were my practice ones that are basically the same layout as like I did for this little practice thing here. You can see they're not exactly the same. This is over a little bit. Here we've got a little larger gap. So I didn't do them. They're not exactly the same. They never will be. This little piece here and these pieces are different sizes because I cut them differently, but it doesn't matter. Just do wherever your cutter leads you, I guess. So these are Thanksgiving ones. This is made with the Iconic Celebrations, 4 different patterns. From that, we've got some pumpkins, some leaves, some stripes, some dots, and that is those 4 cards. And the ones that are on my blog from last Friday, so that would be October 3rd, 4th, whatever last Friday was, I think 4th, October 4th. These are made with the Reindeer Days suite of products. And here, this is the Stampin' Cut, this little strip over here. So you don't have to do a whole card. That's why I wanted to show you this. You can just do it here. On this particular one, I did not put gaps in between on this card here. These are just butted up to each other. And then I added an image, which was all cut from designer paper from that. This one is the same, from the same stack and cut. Here I did put a little, allowed for a little bit of a gap. And this was kind of where I learned. You have to play with your gaps a bit. So that's 4 more cards, or 3 more. Oh, 3 more. 3 more. So we have lots and lots of cards, and I hope you give it a try. Let me flip my camera back before it flips it back for me, or shows both of them. That's disappointing. I thought they had that problem fixed. I guess we'll let them know again it's not fixed. So Stampin' Cut, or not Stampin' Cut, Stack and Cut. Stack your designer paper, cut it however you want. If you have never done this before, I recommend starting with cutting some rectangles. Maybe just cut it in a third and then cut the other piece in half, the other one, and you'll have 3 pieces and you can make 3 cards, if that makes sense. And in that way, you'll also be able to flip to the back sides and mix and match however you like. And it's easier to line them up, of course. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you try it. Let me know what you think. If you're going to try it, that'd be great. I'd love to know. If you learned something, will you give me a thumbs up? And we will see you next week with something else. I do not know what it is yet. This was not what was planned for today, but I kind of did a change at the last minute because I decided I needed some Halloween cards and I'm running out of time. So have a great day. God bless, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.